We're going to be explaining international currency payments, and some people, you may think you know how the system works, but I've actually talked to seven-figure sellers who thought they absolutely didn't know this at all. They didn't even know they were getting charged a currency transfer rate when they move money from euros to dollars or dollars to euro. So this is really important if you live outside the USA and you're selling in the USA, or if you're from the USA and you're selling internationally. Basically, whenever you have currency transfers, Amazon's going to be charging you 3.5 to 4%. Now, that's like literally when they deposit your money. If you're in a foreign country and your bank account is in a different currency, when they transfer it, it's kind of hard to see. But if you actually go look at your reports, you're getting charged that percentage. And then if you're transferring money between bank accounts, okay, like going from a Canadian bank account to a USA bank account, you're getting hit with that fee too. You just don't see it. You're getting screwed on your international currency rates. So in this video, we're talking with Gabriel, OFX. He's going to explain how the whole process works. And we've got a great deal. It's the best deal on the market, and we got it specifically because we're Amazon sellers and we are where all the growth of the future is. So one quick thing, the rates in this video that we talk about aren't correct. That's just kind of their general pitch deck. Here's what the rates actually look like, and these are way better than the other places. I had a friend who was doing close to 8 figures and was still getting way like near the top here. Oh, where's my pen? Getting near the top here. And basically could have got the same rates by going through OFX with us at 500,000. And obviously there's probably lower rates. There are lower rates once you get to higher numbers, and you're gonna negotiate that yourself. But these are our pre-negotiated rates, and I personally use OFX. It's super nice once you get the account set up. So if you go down there, click the links. Please click the actual right one for your seller level, and you could call in and negotiate when you get to the next level, because they've given us a really great deal because they trust us and they think that we are the growth of the future and that we're going to be no hassle clients. So let's just be good clients and actually prove them right. So one quick thing, there's a myth that your account's going to get suspended if you switch your bank account information. And a lot of people don't do this and they continue to just get hosed because of that. Well, that's completely a myth, all right? So when you're going to go and do this and actually change, don't do it on a Thursday in the afternoon or a Friday morning right before a bank account transfer happens, because something might happen, okay? Because then it looks a little fishy. If right before a big money amount comes out, then it does. But do it, right after a payment's been made or a couple days after. Call into Amazon, make a case, and let them know. Put in the information, and the OFX has thousands of accounts that use this already, so there's nothing to worry about. Just put in all the information correctly, and then your money's going to be going to OFX, and then you can put it where you want from there. Either send it directly to your supplier. So, you could be getting double hosed if you're going from the UK to the US, and then your money's going back to here, and then you're sending it over to your supplier here in a different currency. So you'll be able to do what you want with your money then, and it sends way faster than if you're going with your traditional bank. Probably has lower fees than with a traditional bank. You could do it at home at any time you want. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you already have an international currency transfer and you're not going to switch, respect that. Hey, how about you go and get the right rate, okay? Why be paying an unnecessary rate when you don't have to be, because every little bit matters to our margin. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you have any questions, let me know. All right, hey, what's up, everybody? So the number one problem that we all have as Amazon sellers is just time, and then it's coming down to money. So today I have a really quick and easy way that everybody should be doing if you're not, especially if you're an international seller. So we've got Gabriel from OFX here today, and he's going to tell us about international currency transfers and how you're secretly losing a lot of money that it sneaks in there.
It does. Yeah. Happy to talk all day long about it, but we'll try not to do it that long.
Yeah, we'll keep this one short, but we'll do some other videos on other topics in the future. So, you just want to quick introduce yourself in OFX?
Yeah, sure. So, let's see. My name's Gabriel Grisham. I've been at OFX now about 1.5 years. I lived for about 10 years in China. I got my MBA. I've been in finance and e-commerce for the better part of a decade. And what we've gotten here at OFX, we just released a new product. I'll tell you all about it later. But it's great for Amazon sellers all over the world. It's great when you're selling internationally, and excited to be here to talk about it today.
Yeah, awesome. So, so I guess the big takeaway before we get into this is, by the end of this video, everybody should realize how big 2% can really make on your business, because like a lot of people will just be like, oh, whatever, like I'm losing 2%. But it makes a huge effect. So,
it really does. If you like money, 2% really matters.
Yeah, right. So especially when we're running on thin margins. So I mean, I just want to tell a quick story about like, so OFX, mainly just the overview. They allow you to send international currency around the world really easily. Okay, and you get to do it instantly. Like that goes in like 24 to 48 hours instead of a bank, which will take like 2 to 4 business days or something.
Sometimes 5, sometimes it's 14.
Yeah. So. And you know, with banks, you got to fill out a form, or you could do it online, but you get denied. There's certain hours, and they just make it really nice and easy in this integrated platform. And my buddy started a new business and didn't have OFX, and he was going to send money to his supplier, and it got denied, and he'd already sent money to him before. We were on vacation in Bali. It ruined his whole night, our last night of our vacation, and he had to actually get his freight forwarder to loan him $50,000. And so it was a really messy situation. And
so you like to have.
Yeah, he was pissed that he didn't have OFX set up for that new company they made. And and then do you want to just like give one like quick example of like someone who's like,
so my typical client, my typical sale, first call is always around, where are you selling? Are you 1P or 3P? Are you seller central or vendor central? For anybody that's seller central, that's based in the US and selling Amazon UK or Canada, if you're in the UK and you're selling US, that's kind of the first hurdle. If you're doing that, seller central stuff. And then it's around, how are you moving the money? And if you have just signed up with Seller Central, you put in your own bank account details in your home country for an international marketplace. They don't really tell you, but there's a margin that you're going to have to pay on top of the 20% or whatever it is that Amazon's going to charge you just for bringing you those customers. And it's really an inefficient way to do things in this day and age with the technology that's available, especially through us.
What, like 3.5%? You said, right?
It's around there. It can be as high as 4. I've seen it. I analyze things. One of the things I always ask for when I'm talking to somebody is I say, look, just send me some transfers that you had with Amazon. Give me a day. I'll back in what the interbank rate is, and we can see the margin they're charging you, and I'll tell you all about the savings that I can bring you. And it's across Canada, the UK, throughout Europe, and it's here in the US. We've got a lot of Chinese sellers that use us. We've got everybody here in the US that should be, UK and Europe. So we're everywhere. We've got what we call dedicated currency accounts. I'll get into that in a bit. But really the sale is really just first figuring out what is the customer doing? What is that client doing internationally on marketplaces? And not just Amazon, but primarily Amazon. And then how are they moving the money, and are they aware of what Amazon charges for it? And by and large, they're not. I had a call today with a company everybody's heard of. They are based in the US. They were vendor central. They moved to seller central. They're selling in Canada. They're selling in the UK. They're selling in Europe. They're, top 1,000 marketplace seller on Amazon, and just didn't know. Didn't know about the 3.5%. Wasn't aware of it. Thought they didn't deal in FX. Thought they didn't have any currency costs at all. And so I walked them through it just really quickly. And they're like, oh, and I asked for some statements. And so we'll get them. And so that's really it's a 10-minute call of, what are you doing? Where are you doing it? Send me some statements and I'll show you the savings. It's that easy.
Wow. So they were probably losing over like $500,000 a year, something like.
Yeah. It's and this is a company that I love, that I'm a huge fan of theirs. And so it's just like, look, I want to work with you because I want to save you more money so you can go keep doing what you're doing. Make more product, get it out there, they're a fantastic company. So it's really, for me, the excitement is really, 2% of revenues. We talked about it a little bit. If you're on 20% profit margins, 2% more of revenue means you're increased your profit margins by 10% right there. And if you're on narrower profit margins, 2% of revenue is even more.
Oh yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow. And so, this it's not just for large sellers too, though, because even if you're a UK seller and selling in the Amazon US, or just, a Chinese seller or anything, like, you're getting hit with this no matter what. So for US sellers who are just like haven't expanded internationally yet, it's not as big of a concern at this moment, but it still will help you transfer a lot easier. But
everybody's got payments that they need to make internationally. If you're doing same currency payments to China to pay a supplier, what we've got isn't, I can help you make those payments. It's not going to save you a lot of money because you only got a $45 wire fee. So anything over $25,000, I can do it, but it's not going to save you that much. It really comes in if you're in the UK and you've got to pay a Chinese supplier and you're selling in the US, and you have to bring the money back to the UK and then send it out to China in US dollars, and you're converting twice, and it's a mess.
So you get double dipped. So you're getting actually like a 7% or more.
Yeah. Because what people also don't realize is not just Amazon, but banks also charge margins. So why don't I jump into the deck real quick?
Yeah, let's get into that.
There. So here we were talking about 2%. How much is it? All right. Pick your line item. Wherever you are in monthly sales, I've got a few of them here. And if you're 1.6 million total, that's great. 2% of that is 30 grand a month that you're paying.
Yep.
That you shouldn't be, right? Annually, again, follow that line. If you're 10 grand a month, that's 120 grand a year. That's 2,400, which is 2% of that. And if you start moving down, if you're doing 500K a month, that's 120 grand that you're essentially paying that you don't need to be paying. And then over 5 years, the numbers really go up, right? And the thing to note here is the numbers in green, those aren't revenue numbers, those are profit numbers. Right? Yeah,
and then I actually did the math then too. Now, not only that's just that's just assuming flat cash, So then if you were to compound it, like even if you were to just get 10% a year, and I mean in your business you're getting a way better than 10% ROI. So even a 10% ROI, and I didn't even compound it correctly, it ends up being like 2.5 million or more.
This is money you can reinvest into your business. This is stuff that you can do day one to keep those profit margins high, get turnover fast, so you can grow even faster. So we didn't take into any of that account. This is just straight. If you never grow at 10 grand a month, we'll save you'll have $12,000 more in profit after 5 years. It goes way up.
It's just crazy.
Here's why it matters. And this is what a lot of people don't understand is what I did was I just very quickly, I went to Yahoo Finance. You can see our logo on the bottom. OFX, we're kind of a big company. We power some of these things on the back end.
How much do you guys do in payments a year?
Over last year, we just released results, about $21 billion in currency transfers. So the reason I wanted to bring this up here is that the other thing you can do with us, and it's for those, especially bigger sellers, you want to start paying attention to currency fluctuations because it's going to go up and down probably 10% in a given year. So you just want to keep an eye on it. You don't have to do anything. You can. Feel free to call me and I can discuss it more at length. I just want to demonstrate here real quick that this, and my video might be in the way, I'll do that, is that this is just the Canadian dollar to US dollar. And it's got a low of 0.74 and a high of what let's call it 0.82. So that's 8 cents on 80. That's a 10% swing, right? In a year. The same thing, pound to dollar. Low of, call it 1.26, high of 1.44. Okay, again, a 10% swing in a year, that directly impacts your profits. So you got to have a view to currency, especially if you're doing any kind of volume.
So you guys have some form of hedging material or hedging
options? We can. You can set forward rates with us if you like the rate. I usually recommend like lock in a profit margin for, if you estimate out next year's revenues, next year's income from the UK is going to be X, take half of that. Take a third of that, set a forward rate. You know what your price you're selling at, so that, and you've got 12 months to fill that hedge. It limits your upside a little bit, but it keeps you from going in the red, which is what everybody needs to not do, right? And then let's get into the traditional wires real quick. This is what everybody thinks happens. You're sending money, you go to your bank, it goes over the SWIFT network, it goes to your recipient's bank, and then your guy gets it in his account. That's what everybody thinks happens. It's not really how it is. Here are the wire fees, but there are fees and FX margins. And so here's what it really here's an example of what it can look like. This is the correspondent banking network that exists worldwide and the SWIFT network. So you've got not really just the banks don't talk to each other. They got to find a third or a fourth bank to make that connection. And everybody's going to take a slice, right? And so everybody's got fees coming out and this gets charged here and that gets charged there. But where the real cost that comes into this is this last part, the total cost of this transfer, $137 is like 3% of the transfer. 2% is right here in this FX rate in the exchange, right? That's where it is. And I mean, if you're moving hundreds of millions of dollars and you're calling up a bunch of different banks and you're negotiating rates, you can avoid this, but most don't, right? Most just say, I need to send $10,000. How much is it going to cost? Boom, Bob's your uncle. But there is a cost in there for the banks.
So my friend just said, I just asked him last night, and I said, hey, so what service are you using? He said that his bank set up an international FX account with him. So yeah. Would he be getting comparable rates with that potentially, or
depends on the bank. Some are better than others. But yeah, again, it's like there's like if it's an FX hedging product, that's one thing. But if it's kind of a foreign exchange delivery product to different banks, it's unlikely.
Okay.
I hear more about it, but I don't. It sounds to me like that's more of I want to hold different balances in different currencies to minimize my currency exposure. So if the pound goes up against the dollar, I have some of those pounds, so I get that increase. If it goes down, then I can hedge. Anyway, it's complicated.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. So here's the reason for all that. What I just showed you, this whole thing, is that innovation in cross-border payments at the banks over the last 30 years hasn't really changed. This is why we came into existence around 1998. The background of our company is two guys sitting on a beach in Australia trying to figure out how to get the best rate for their Australian dollars. They started out just kind of the way Yahoo started out, just like saying, this is what we like and this is what we think is good. And then after a few years, they're like, well, we could do this better than the banks. So we launched in 98. About whatever it is, more than 20 years later, we've got banking networks all across the world, and we move a ton of money. And this is what we've got today. So the places in orange are where we can issue bank accounts to our sellers, right? And so Japan shouldn't be there. That's coming. But anyway, Canada, US, UK, Europe, Australia, all of these places you can have bank accounts in. And then I'll get to why that's important here in a second. So here are your options. I'm going really fast, so you guys can let's record it so people can rewind. You're in the US, you're selling Amazon.co.uk, right? You've got income, you've got revenue, and you're probably just using Amazon to send your money back, and that costs you 3.5%. It just is. Another option, you can open a bank account in London or somewhere in the UK. It's hard to do. You probably have to fly there. You can have Amazon settle. They'll just settle like for like, and then your bank's going to send you your money, but that's going to be 2 to 4% in wire fees. Just unless you're calling up 4 different banks and trying to get the best foreign exchange rate possible, that's what you're going to be paying. Right.
This is assuming that you're a U.S. seller, or
yeah. This is assuming you're a U.S. seller.
Okay. Yep.
The U.K. example in a second. With us, when we issue your accounts, what we do is we've got money sitting all over the world. So what you do is you tell Amazon, don't send my money to the U.S. You send it to an OFX account that's in your name, essentially. Amazon will deliver the funds there. And then when you want to deal those funds back to dollars, what you do is you tell us, you can do it online, and we'll take those pounds off of your hand, and those will just go to our very large pound account in the UK. And then we'll deliver dollars locally to your US account because we have a bunch of dollars sitting on deposit, right? So the money doesn't actually cross the Atlantic. We don't use the SWIFT network for this. We're the counterparty, which is why we can get much better foreign exchange rates. And we start at 1.5%, and I'm fine saying that. It's just how we work. So the most you're going to pay with us is 1.5% margins. So you're going to be saving probably against Amazon at least 2% from the get-go, and that goes down from there by volume. So as your revenues increase and as the more you transfer with us goes up, the lower your rate gets. This is paying suppliers really quick. So it's the same thing. Amazon to Swift, 3.5%, 2 to 4%. So you're paying, 5.5% to 7.5% on currency costs, which is way too much, right? The banks are going to be the same thing. With us, what you do, again, deliver pounds, we'll deliver dollars to your home account, or we can make that payment to Australia, is this example, in Australian dollars directly. Again, 1.5% for all of this stuff. You're not paying twice, which is what nobody should ever pay foreign exchange currency costs on the same dollar twice. Right? You don't.
All right, so 1.5% versus 7.
Yeah,
7-ish. Yeah,
a little bit better. And then this is the supplier payment here. This is for this is the UK example. So you're in the UK, you've got a supplier in China, you're selling on Amazon.com. Amazon's sending you money at 3.5. You're wiring it to China, again, converting. So Amazon's converted it from dollars to pounds. You're then converting it from pounds to dollars. And so again, 5.5 to probably 7.5%, somewhere in that, in just currency costs and foreign exchange. Instead, land the dollars from Amazon to an OFX account that you control. And then you can pay those dollars like for like to your Chinese supplier, right? It's a whole lot better. And I can get narrower than 1.5% on that. This is the interface. This is, what we've been talking about. And here,
from if it's straight from Amazon, you went through that fast there. So just clarifying that, that it may be easier to go down a little bit. If you are an international seller and you're taking dollars from Amazon and then giving dollars to your supplier, that's the ideal situation for you guys.
Exactly.
Then.
You don't want to convert those back into your home currency. If you're in us, we got a lot of Australian sellers. We've got a lot of UK. We've got a lot of European sellers, and especially Canada. Right? All of these sellers, they're like, well, I'm making dollars. I've got to pay dollars to my suppliers. Why would I bring it home and convert it with Amazon and then send it out again? It's just really inefficient. So, a lot of our Canadian sellers, they say they've got the easiest way to set up a US bank account versus anybody in the UK or Europe or Australia. They still come to us because we're easier than that. I mean, it's an online application. It's half an hour of paperwork. It's, a week or two to get you through compliance. And then you've got all of this available to you.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah. Good question. All right. So I just get excited. I like showing this part off. So this is the interface. This is where you've got it, and I can't pause it, so I got to talk fast. Those are the accounts you can get. One interface. You can see all the transactions through any account. Right? These are Amazon deposits. They're withdrawals that you control. You want to transfer money, you just go to the transfer page. You're going to choose the account that you want to send money from. And then you can load in all of your recipients. So those are saved. And then you say how much you want to send. Right? It's really easy. Right? You see your rate in the right-hand side. You see how much they're going to get. You hit finalize and you're done. Now, the one thing that this we've actually updated in the last week and a half when I put this together is that now you can also choose how much you want somebody to receive. So if you've got a bunch of pounds and you got to pay a Chinese supplier in dollars, you can do that saying, I need him to receive exactly $10,000. And then you'll see how much we're going to pull out of your pound account or your CAD account or your Australian dollar account.
Oh, okay. There we go. That's nice.
Same thing from, say you want to bring say you're a US seller and you want to bring all of your money back, right? Then you want to be able to just say, well, send me 13,356 pounds and 47 pence, right? You can do that as well. So you can choose either one. It's really good. It makes life really easy. So in summary, and these are all the use cases. If you have revenues from international marketplaces,
so if you're a U.S. seller and you're selling anywhere else
other than Amazon.com, and that includes international sites like eBay, we can do those as well. If you're paying suppliers overseas with a wire transfer, especially if it's a cross-currency wire transfer. If you're repatriating revenues before sending them out again, that's what I was talking about, moving the same dollar twice or the same pound or whatever it is. Don't do that. You're paying foreign exchange currency costs 2 times, which is at least one too many. PayPal is another big one. PayPal, as you may know, isn't that efficient when it comes to international foreign exchange and currency costs. So you can link, if you're able to get like a PayPal UK account, you can then have those PayPal UK revenues land in our pound account for you and then bring it back at a much better rate.
Oh, okay. So let's say I'm paying my virtual assistants.
Yeah.
And they have foreign bank accounts. And so I'm getting screwed on that too then, or someone is in the process.
Somebody is. So and like I said, the way that our thing works is it's usually not a wire, especially to the major currencies, right? Pounds, CAD, euros, Aussie dollars. The major currencies is all local delivery.
Oh, okay.
And so it's really good to make those payouts, and you can do it also like for like, same currency to same currency, right from that interface that I showed you. So if you have money coming in from the Australian marketplace, but you've got an Australian consultant that's helping you with, email targeting or whatnot, and you want to pay them in Aussie dollars, you can do that directly from that account.
Oh, okay.
Rather than trying to wire them US dollars.
Yep.
And then at the end, are you sending or receiving international wires for any reason? If you're doing that, it's worth giving OFX a call, because it's costing you money, and it's costing you more than it should be, really. I mean, we make money. We're not free, but we're way more efficient at moving money internationally than even banks are. And again, here are those numbers, just to reiterate how much money you could be saving over time. And then the benefits.
Yeah, so I kind of wrote these up specifically for Amazon sellers. So, I mean, like, there's no wire fees. So the main things we care about, money, our cash flow is so important, and then your time. So there's no wire fees doing it. When you're doing US dollar to US dollar, it's actually cheaper than using the bank. It's about like $25,000 and just do a bank wire. But and then it starts out like, so let's say you're selling in the UK, you're an Amazon seller in the US, you're selling in any international market, you're going to save a huge amount right away. And then once you start to do volume, it goes down, and just the time, especially for international sellers, literally everybody selling in the USA market outside, you've got to be using this, just because otherwise you got to set up a USA bank account, or you're taking that hit every single time.
Yep.
It's just a big mess. And then just the ease to go 24/7.
Yeah. Like, the other thing with this is that, like you just said, it's easy to do. That interface that I showed you, for smaller sellers, if you don't want to worry about it in the beginning, you just want to focus on product and marketing, and you want your money to arrive as soon as possible and not have to log in anywhere, that's possible too. That's just auto convert. That's as soon as money lands in pounds. Let's say you're selling Amazon UK and you've got 10K arriving every 2 weeks, and you just need that back as soon as possible. You don't even need to log in. We'll just put you on auto convert. That 10K will convert into US dollars.
Okay, so it's literally just like you got a payment from Amazon, except maybe there's an extra 24-hour to 48-hour wait compared like when it would hit your bank account technically.
Yeah, maybe. It could be like that. It depends on when Amazon sends it and where they send it from, and there's a bunch of stuff. But really, there's also just going to be more money arriving in your account.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm like, I guess it's like looking at the cost benefit. It's like, well, maybe you pay 24 to 48 hours, maybe, but because like if you guys get it on that Friday that they send it out, then who knows? But like you save so much money that it makes sense.
And it really does. And so, and the other thing I want to touch on is the 1.5%. So that's where we start, right? If you're doing 10K a month or less, it's probably going to be 1.5%. It's just that's good enough to get you up and running. And then as you grow, and if you're doing 500K a month, give me a call. We're going to get you below 1% pretty easy. As long as you're selling stuff that I can verify, my compliance department isn't going to give me grief over it. It's going to be pretty easy to do.
So as long as you're like following the rules pretty closely, you're not doing stupid stuff, like you're not black hatting.
Don't get shut down. Don't be asking me for a new bank account every month because your Amazon store got closed. If you're not doing those kinds of things, and you're making life easy, and you're just trying to blow and go and grow your own business, again, that's why I'm here. I'm here to make your life a little bit easier on the finance side.
Awesome. So it kind of makes no sense.
No, we don't
should just do it.
All right. Cool.
All right, so like I'm just wondering like how long this process takes. Like people like international currency transfers, it's scary, whatever. People don't want to think about it. I could just sign up for my Amazon seller account, get my Europe account, and then I'm done and I'm getting dollars. So but like how long does this take? And like just kind of like
Sure.
Like what's the process?
The process is, the application itself, we've got two things that need to be filled out. And then just like you open up any bank account, we got to know who you are. We need your ID and company formation docs and that. If you've got that easily available, it's probably half an hour of your time. Getting you through compliance is, it can be, if I can fast track it, it's like 48, 72 hours. Usually it's a week or two, just because we've got a backlog. But really the time it takes for you as the seller to get this thing done is negligible, like I said. And then what you do is as soon as we give you those bank accounts, it's full information. You got your bank number, your routing number, you've got your IBAN, you've got all that stuff. You just supply that in your Amazon seller central profile. What we always recommend you do is you call your Amazon rep beforehand and say, hey, I'm going to switch out my bank account.
Oh, wait. If only we all had Amazon reps. Come on.
That's true.
No, I wish. All right. So you call up seller support for the 99% of us.
Right.
And okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
But we also, to help them out, also, we provide you with a letter that says, and Amazon knows who we are. So you get a letter from OFX saying, yes, on behalf of person, Joe Blow and company XYZ, we have opened a bank account for the sole purpose of receiving Amazon revenues, blah, 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 blah. You send that and that gets you through as well. So again, it's a really easy process. I suggest everybody do it. If you're selling anywhere internationally, you got to do this, tomorrow. You like money, you probably need to do it sooner rather than later, because it's just every time Amazon's sending you money, they're taking that little clip that's, above their 15, 20%, whatever they're charging you for finding those customers.
So can we pay our VAT with you guys too then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So US sellers can pay VAT, UK sellers can pay state taxes. We're working on a couple of integrations, some more exciting things down the road to automate it even further. But yeah, if you've got a bank account that you need to pay money to, we can do it all day long, and you can put in that reference number to link it to your account, so somebody that's receiving it knows that it's from you.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, so how much does this cost to sign up for? What's the catch?
So no catch. No, it doesn't cost anything to sign up. There's no contract. There's no obligation to use it. So
you can't lose.
Yeah. Worst case scenario is you spend an hour of your time gathering documents. We set this thing up for you, and then you decide not to use it, and it just kind of goes by the wayside, and you do something else. And whatever that is, it doesn't matter. It's not like you're signing up for card processing for 2 years and there's a breakage fee. It's nothing like that.
Okay, perfect. So they could literally just sign up and it'll sit there, and cool.
Yeah, but you really should use it. So when you get the thing, you then tell Amazon to send you your money to us, rather than, you should do it, but you don't have to.
Yeah, and people should set this up beforehand too, even if they're like not ready, so that when the day comes, they're not like, oh, and then it's like your first payment has to go through the US, and then you're like, oh, well, I can't wait for.
If you have an account with us already, like say we've issued you a CAD account for Canada, and you're expanding to the UK.
How long does it take for me to get a Canadian bank account if I have an OFX account?
24 hours.
How long does it take for me to get an Australian bank account?
24 hours.
Okay.
You email, if you're
literally everyone
of ours, it's just like it's a couple of emails on the back end, operations compliance, like yes, he's fine, and then it's issued. It's so easy. So you can expand. It's tailored. I mean, if you only need one now, great, just do one. We do 6 of them. So again, to list them: US dollars, Canadian dollars, pounds, euros, Hong Kong dollars, Australian dollars.
Okay.
You can get any of those accounts within 24 hours at any time, as long as you're a client of OFX.
Sweet. Are you guys ever going to add further ones?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So it's the war to see who can add the most currencies?
War is a strong word, but yeah, there's a bit of a battle out there. We've covered all the major ones. Some of our competitors have got a couple that we don't. That is what it is, but it's all coming. And so
Well, I don't really know anybody that sells in Amazon Japan, to be honest. Like, it's just such a cultural difference that.
Yeah, same with Amazon China. It's like you can sell Amazon China, which is, by the way, something else we should do. We can do a whole thing on China when you want.
Yeah. What about China? Wait, which part?
Well, you can start with the suppliers, then you can end with the customers. I know it pretty well.
Oh, okay. So making one tailored for the manufacturers. Suppliers, they're kind of best practices, but actually, to be honest, the guys that they're 8-figure sellers that have been doing it for years, know that better than I do. When it comes to targeting Chinese consumers, let's say you've built a brand successfully on Amazon, and you've hit that 7-figure, 8-figure mark, and now you're looking to turn around and say, hey, there is
a huge consumer base in China that would be interested in this thing. I mean, assuming you're not selling a dongle that charges your phone, because you're not going to beat anybody in China to do that. But if you've built like a clothing brand, if you've built a skincare brand, if you've built anything,
They love American brands.
A nice value proposition, there is a way to target the Chinese consumer intelligently.
Yeah, no, my buddy who's doing 8 figures, he's like, that's my next move, going to the Chinese market. That's like his big sights. Okay, so I mean, you're not the only international currency transfer person in the world, and so like, you just want to name like kind of your general competitors, what makes you guys different from them, because people are like, they have to go out and make this choice. Well, first of all, hopefully they're aware now, and but now they got to make a choice, and so just like how they could navigate that, and
Yeah. So, and I don't mind naming them. So the big ones are World First. It's probably one of the bigger guys that they've been in this market for a long time. Payoneer. And then you've got some others, Currencies Direct. There's a company out of China called Ping Pong. There's probably a few other minor players. Of the big three, we're definitely one of them. I think in terms of size and scale, Payoneer, World First, and OFX are all, they're all doing about the same amount of volume. Differences between us, first of all, we're publicly traded. We're a profitable company. They're private, so I don't really know what their revenues are. I'm sure they're doing well. They've got a lot of staff. They got a lot of people. I see them all over the place. Other differences, our system is a bit more automated, I think. Nobody needs to touch a computer in order for you to make a transfer from the UK to the US. Our system, the back end is awesome. And you don't really see it as a consumer of OFX, as a customer of ours. But the payments are very regular and they're getting sped up all the time. We've got a lot of investment into this product that's coming out. So the things that are coming down the road are going to be absolutely fantastic. So if you're looking at it and trying to make a choice today, it may look like things are really similar on the front end, on that customer facing side. I would say that OFX over the last 3 years has probably done a lot more investing in the back end and the actual technology that you don't see, that is really going to bring some benefits to you.
Oh, okay. So just going forward, then you guys are technologically set up in a way that could scale more, as we become more global, and there's all these different, as soon as e-commerce is eventually going to be large in every country someday. Okay. So you guys could potentially have a better system set up for all of that. And
when it comes to scale, I think we're really good at it. I'm not going to say we're better than the competition just because I don't want to get I know those guys pretty well. Yeah, I like them, but I think I absolutely have something that is a better product at the end of the day, that's more reliable, that's up all the time, and then we've got customer service that follows the sun. So anytime, day or night, at 1 a.m., if you wake up and you're like, oh, I forgot to make that transfer, or, oh, I need this money right now, I can't wait. You can call somebody up and they may have an Australian accent when they answer the phone, but you're going to be able to talk to somebody right away about what you need to do. They're going to have access to your account. You can tell them what you need, and they're going to be able to help you. And we've got a great customer service team.
Okay, awesome. Well, so yeah, people could go ahead and click down there and sign up. And if they're mean to you, let me know and I'll yell at them.
Yeah, deal.
Yeah. So and then I'm sure we'll cover some other topics in the future. If you guys are confused, let us know down below, and that would be helpful.
Any questions, let me know. My email address has got to be somewhere around here. And then I'm available, and then we can talk whatever you want to talk about later on, Brock, whether it's taxes or VAT or how money moves and all that stuff. So
we'll do that. We'll do that once we get some questions. I'll collect them and we'll have a Q&A or something.
Deal.
Awesome. All right. Well, everybody thank you for coming and informing us. And
thanks for having me, Brock.
Yeah.
With the legend, Brock Johnson.
Thanks. Until next time.